The Completionist charity has been lying to you for years. So the Completionist has been on G4, by the way. He has been on G4. He is known on YouTube completing every game that he played, pretty much, right? And this video just came out a day ago. I don't know what I know he had a charity, but supposedly he's been like collecting the money and not been using it for charity. So we're gonna find out exactly what's going on. And this is just allegations as of right now. Unless the video shows proof of some kind. And kind of go from there. I thought it was going to be from CoffeeZilla, but it's actually from some ordinary gamers. So let's just go.
I'm going to start you off with a question. When you donate to a charity live stream and that money leaves your bank account and it goes to the charity, do you expect that money to actually be going to the charity that you're donating to, or do you expect it to sit in a bank account for years? What do you think is the more logical option? Do you want your money to go that year, or do you want it to just sit in a bank account doing nothing to help a cause that you firmly believe in? Well, that's the question we're looking into today. Now, the YouTuber that we're actually discussing is known as the Completionist.
That's why you should always do research. A lot of research before you donate to a charity, right? Like, you should always look into who do you donate to, right? Like, you should always look into that. Always.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering, who is the Completionist? The Completionist is one of the more popular gaming channels. He's been around for a long time, and he makes some pretty awesome gaming content. What the Completionist also does beyond make interesting gaming content is run something known as Indie Land, an actual yearly event where industry veterans, independent gaming companies, big brands like Corsair and G Fuel, and some of the best influencers in the game all converge together to help raise money for charity. Indie Land is there to fight against dementia. Now, if you go to the big donate page over here, you'll find out that they work with the Open Hand Foundation. And this foundation was founded to honor the memory of Karen Khalil, the Completionist mother who ended up losing her life in a fight against frontotemporal dementia. And of course, all the condolences for sure. But when we looked into this charity, one of the biggest red flags showed up, and that was the Open Hand Foundation. Now, while it is a 501c3 charitable organization, tax-free, all designed for public charity, we wanted to look into this organization with a much more in-depth look, because we found something a little unsavory. And by we, I mean Carl Jobst and me. We were working on the story together, and the actual results are very damning. So ladies and gentlemen, when we looked at the Open Hand Foundation, they said, together, let's make a difference. And of course, the philosophy is, the more you receive, the more you give. The more you give, the more you receive. Life gives and life takes. And of course, if you look at their donation, they say that your gift will contribute to vital research for a cure for this devastating disease. Now, of course, they list benefactors like the University of California, San Francisco.
How would you feel if you donate to a charity and it's not actually being used for that charity? Kind of like, I don't get too political here, right? Because when you say this name, you get too political. Like how kind of people find some evidence about BLM organization, how they never use the money for actual causes. They just bought like a bunch of houses. I don't know. That was there was like a lot of evidence out there, so it's kind of very hard to avoid that. But just like with this charity, it's supposed to be for dementia, I believe. And it turns out they're not even using that money for that disease. How would you guys feel? How would you guys feel if you guys donate to a place and then they're not even using that money for that certain thing? You know, like kind of like maybe like a content creator. You donate to a content creator to say, hey, we want to raise up this money to use it for this, and they never end up using it for that. You know, kind of like that. Well, how's it go, everybody?
I assume it's from San Francisco. Typos usually aren't a good sign when it comes to situations like this. But on their events page, they appear to have two events that help raise money for this charity, which is the Convenience Cup Challenge and, of course, Indie
The
Land.
Indie Land.
Which, ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to look even further into where this money that was raised by Indie Land was going. See, in the news, you would just read that Indie Land, for instance, in 2021, raised more than $100,000 for dementia research, which is crazy awesome. Over the weekend, annual live streaming event raised more than $100 grand for charity, organized by YouTube star Gerard Galil, aka The Completionist. And of course, it's the same story that you'll find on other websites like Dual Shockers, which again says in 2022 they raised $80K for dementia research. And of course, these are massive news articles to see. It's feel-good stuff. But this is where I feel like these news sites should have dug a little bit deeper, because what me and Carl found was very questionable.
Are you almost done?
So how do you vet a charity yourself, ladies and gentlemen? To vet a charity, you go to any of their websites, and usually at the very bottom, you'll find something like a tax ID, an EIN number. For the Open Hand Foundation, it's 3008275510. You copy that, and you can basically go to the IRS charity lookup right here. So again, it's as very simple as going to Google, typing in IRS lookup, and here you can see tax-exempt organization search. You click on that, and you put in the EIN number in this field and hit the search button. And that takes you to the Open Hand Foundation. You open that one up right here, and you can see a lot of their letters too. For instance, this determination letter that shows that they've been active since 2014. And again, this is their this is basically them showing when they were active from, okay? So they've got their tax forms, their 990 PFs, which basically shows the money going in and hopefully the money going out. So these are all public records, and you can look them up for yourself.
Yeah, I mean that does make sense. Public records for a charity, that does make sense. Kinda. I'm redesigning all of my action stills. Oh, why? Is it because it's been like a while and then the art style changed a little bit? Or what? The knuckles. Oh, okay, cool.
Right now. And we went to ProPublica, and they have tax filings all the way from 2014 up to 2021. So at this moment in time, me and Carl decided to look down the actual filings year by year, and we found a pretty massive discrepancy that, to everyone we showed, has raised every red flag imaginable. So back in 2014, this open to public inspection note, you can see that the Open Hand Foundation raised in revenue $33,000 in contributions. If you look at their operating and administrative expenses, they had nothing to spend. So that also includes contributions, gifts, and grants paid, line 25. Which would mean money going to other charitable organizations or grants that you're providing for, Alzheimer's research, for these charitable causes.
Right.
And of course, if you look at their balance sheets, at the end of 2014, they had $33,756 sitting in cash in their accounts. So then we go to the year 2015, and we looked that they made $60,000 in contribution revenue. They spent $27,686 this year.
Okay.
But that puts them from having $33,756 in their account at the beginning of the year to having $66,000. Remember, it's the amount of contributions they make minus their operating expenses.
Right.
What's interesting is line 25. They paid nothing in contributions, gifts, or grants at all. They did, however, spend $28,000 in administrative expenses. Then we decided to go all the way to the year 2016, and the pattern became even more interesting. $40,000 they raised in that year. Then they went down and apparently spent $11,599 in administrative.
They have accounting fees, other professional fees, other expenses, and contribution and gifts is still zero. Operation and administrative expense 11,000. Bruh. Yeah, I'm testing out new ways to. I heard about that. Okay. That makes sense, dude. Well, good luck on the animation, man. I've been wanting to see it for a while now.
Administrative expenses. How much did they spend in contributions paid? $0. And of course, you can see that at the beginning of the year, they had $66,000 that they started off with and $94,000 in the bank. So then we went to the year 2017. And if you can imagine the pattern, they made $31,000. They spent $11,000, still paid $0 in contributions or grants to these charities, and started with $94,000 and ended with $115,000. Then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, 2018 rolls. They make $113,000 in contributions in revenue. They spend $14,144 in operating expenses. Then, of course, they still pay out $0 in contributions, starting the year with $115 in the bank, ending it with $215,028 in the bank. 2019 rolls around. They make $123,000. They spend $12,394 in operating expenses. So actually, $13,029. Point is, they
wait. So all that money is still in the bank. So, bro, are they just trying to save up as much money? I don't understand what they're doing.
They still spent $0 in contributions paid. That started them off with $215 that year, ended them with $325, $815. The year 2020 rolls up, turn of the decade. $122,000 that they've earned in contributions. Again, still contributing $0 to these charitable organizations, but spending $6,140 in operating money. That started them with $325, ended them with $442. 2021 rolls by. They make $136,000 in contributions and donations. Donate $0 this entire year too. Spend almost $30,000 in administrative expenses. This starts them with $442,000, ends them with $549. And if you think I'm getting too long-winded, don't get me wrong. We're at the last year, 2022 of their filings. They make $117,000. Then they somehow spend $11,000, but still contribute $0 at all. So again, this starts them with $549 and ends them with a whopping $655,000 in the bank. That seems about right. Indieland is raising $600,000. Obviously, there's a bit more money that they've earned from various other events and more contributions. But the point is, this is still money that's sitting in their account. Now, me and Carl actually started a conversation with Gerard to get his side of the story, and he confirms that the money is still sitting in the account.
To answer your question, Carl, so I don't have an answer. You know, I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that, and that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But, you know, again, it doesn't fucking matter. You guys are going to say what you're going to say, and I can't stop it. But the important thing is that all the money is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. Like, it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that. And that's the thing about 501c is that, like, if I did any of that, the minute I did any malpractice of that nature, literally the government would be like, hey, we're coming after you. And that's, you know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality and, you know, me advertising this event and showing people sponsors and all that stuff.
Now, I think it's quite interesting to almost make it sound like this is about to be some crazy drama story, when in reality, this isn't some tabloid journalism we go for. I kind of find a weird insinuation of that a little bit insulting for me and my colleagues like Carl, people like CoffeeZilla, people like Barely Sociable, who do deep dives and investigative pieces on situations like this.
I guess what I'm asking you guys is, what do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Gerard, we want you to shut up and take the L so we can make content, that's fine. If that's what you guys think is the way to go, to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my...
Well, can you just donate the money now then? Like, okay, hold up. Okay, there's some good news is the money is still in the bank, right? But the operation cost is weird. I mean, obviously it has to cost some money, but what are they doing? What's the operation cost? Is it the event that they do every year? Is that what it is? So the money's still in the bank. That's the good news though, right? So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought they had no money. I thought they were like spending on themselves or something like that. So the good news is they did not spend the money. It's still in the bank. The solution is very simple, in my opinion. Maybe it's more complicated, but as right now, just donate the whole money that's in the bank and go to $0. Right? Or at least majority of it and have some of it for operation costs, which I don't know what that is. I think that has to be what the achievements he does, like Indieland. Then just do that. I don't understand what's the problem. Like, you have the money. Now donate it. Bitch. Okay. Sorry.
My mom, like, this is, I would not be outward facing knowing that I can get raked through the coals for this.
This isn't drama. This is erroring at best at severe negligence, or it could go into actual charitable fraud. Now, this definition came from legalmatch.com, which actually said charity fraud is when someone takes advantage of a charitable or nonprofit organization for their own personal gain. Fraud is defined as intentional deception or misrepresentation made for personal gain. Defrauding a charity can be anything from falsely claiming to be a victim of the disaster in order to get money from a charity, to stealing donations from a collection tin, to setting up a fake charity and pocketing the donations. However, fraudulent activity can also occur when people make dishonest or inflated claims about how much money they have raised or how much it has helped the cause. And again, the dishonest claims are ones that we're going to be looking into now. So again, even with the legal match definition, one of the most common ways to commit charity fraud include pretending to be a charity or falsely claiming to be affiliated with a legitimate charity in order to solicit donations. So at this moment in time, this is where me and Carl decided to look deeper into the Indieland streams, just to see if they were being very up and honest about the definitions of this charity, and if the money was actually supposed to be earmarked and kept, or it was going to some legitimate organizations. Let's listen closely.
Guys, welcome to Indieland. For those of you who don't know what we're doing, we're raising money for dementia research and prevention, helping victims who not only have dementia, but the families of those around them. It's obviously a very important cause. I could talk today, near and dear to my heart. I was 10 years old when my mom got dementia, and it's been a journey for me and my family. And so this cause is obviously very personal, and that's why we're here today. Bits, donations, subs, buy the shirt, buy the coin, buy indie games, all that stuff. All of it is going to the benefit of helping others for this charity event.
So again, if that is a true statement, then the actual filings would reflect that. Again, we looked through every single aspect of their public filings and found that they didn't contribute anything.
Okay, look, what do you guys think? Because like, yes, you did not donate it, but the money is still in the account, so it's bad. But I think it's still redeemable. Am I wrong about that? Like, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's bad, right? Because, like, all the money, the operation costs, like what it says right here, other expenses, etc., professional fees, all that kind of stuff, right? They're spending money, but the majority of the money is just sitting in the account. So what would they thinking about doing with that money, right? Just because at one end, it could be like, oh, we're just saving it to go put a big money donation one time. That doesn't make sense. So you guys gonna do it for 5-10 years and then donate the money? That does not make sense. So what were you holding it on to? Were you trying to raise up enough money so you could buy yourself something you guys need, or was that your emergency fund? Like, question is just like, what is going on at this point? Because the money's there. That's the good news. The majority of the money is there. But now I got a question. What is the operation cost? What are they even doing? Does that cost that much money is spent to make those events? What are the other expenses? There's so many questions. Like, where the expensive money's been, how they've been spending money, and then through all of that, they still don't donate the money, like the majority of the money. That's just weird. You guys are spending all this money to do these events, but then like the money that you got for like the majority of it, it's not donated. Because I understand if we use some of the donation money to pay for the events. I 100% get that, man. At the end of the day, you can't go broke. I mean, it's like a non-profit, right? You don't make profit out of it. You just get the money for the expense stuff, right? Whether like paying the gamers to play the games or something like that, or camera crew, production, all that kind of stuff, whatever, right? I understand that. That makes sense, right? That does make sense, especially if they were honest about it. If they're honest about it, it makes more better. That's way better too. Like, oh hey guys, so the majority of money charity is gonna go towards that, but a small portion of it will go towards our production costs, etc., stuff like that. This is weird. It's just sitting there though. That's all I'm like. That's like where I'm like really confused. That like the money is just sitting there. What for? What is their plan?
In fact, me and Carl even went down and actually got a comment from their organization, and it reads like this in one actual message that we received. Dear Carl, thank you for your inquiry regarding the financial activities of the Open Hand Foundation. We recognize your concerns and are glad to offer clarity in our operations and missions. So again, they actually...
One of the issues was that Gerard said on his stream all the money was going to charity. He never clarified the portion of that money into the event cost. That's a problem right there, dude. That is a problem, right? Because like I understand events cost money. That's common sense, right? Where's the money come from? Does the Gerard paid all out of pocket, or does it take a portion of that money for operation costs? You know what I mean? Like what? How does this work? Because sponsorships, etc., stuff like that too, right? That's weird. But yeah, he never said that. So he said all the money, 100% of the money, is gonna go towards charity. He never, yeah, that bro, look at the expenses cost. Every year it's been going up and up and up. Now I don't mean to like go back, but look at this year. Operation and administrative expenses, $29,000. Other expenses, 18. So like all this adds up to this, right? Like all this stuff pretty much adds to pretty much right here, right? For the most part, I think, yeah. So it's $29,000, right? Excessive revenue of expenses and distributors, $106,000. And it's zero paid to like charities and stuff. That's so weird. Then
registration, and that was back in 2014, we have been evaluating potential beneficiaries who align with our visions, entities that could use our funds efficiently and effectively without a significant portion being diverted to administrative expenses. Okay. We asked Gerard about this, and it pretty much seems like what they have said to us in writing matches what he told us in an interview.
Whether it's UCSF or a partner that's also on our website, because we don't have any other benefactors currently. Like that's why I was like, well, they're taking care of it, but nothing was ever brought to my attention. I just knew that conversations were happening between Alzheimer's Association of America, AFTD Foundation, UCSF started a new organization, I think called like Bluefin or Blue Group, which is like supposed to be their 501c part of their organization. So I know I have a paper trail of us talking to other organizations as early as 2020 and 2021 in an attempt to pay them what they were owed. And most of the conversations we had from some of the bigger orgs like Alzheimer's, they were like, look, if you're not going to pay more than 6 figures or 6+ figures of what they asked for, then you're just going to waste it. So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org and like make a bigger impact.
See, that was my assumption right there. That is my assumption right there. There's like, so they just wanted to like do a big donation at once. So that was my assumption right there. So let's see where it goes, because this is a longer video and it could be lying about it, or there's some like that maybe the charity is kind of weird. They're trying to donate to. I don't know.
Packed rather than just giving smaller donations that don't move the needle.
Now, I think this is a very, very dumb point in the sense that, again, bear with me.
Okay,
if I go to an actual charity right now, for instance, the Alzheimer's Association, one thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount that is as low as $35. Now, again, if the idea was that a small donation was somehow going to be more geared towards financing this organization's administrative costs versus actually helping Alzheimer's and contributing to the cure, then they should just tell you, why the fuck would you donate $35? Donate $30.
Yeah, couldn't they also do like, oh, here's the link to donate for the charity, like straight to the charity? Isn't that a thing too they could do? Or am I wrong? You know what I mean? You know, like right now, like what they use, like Tilfilly or something like that. Like I used it before to like, so like the money that people donate on that link, I never get it. It goes straight to the charity, right? So they couldn't you just set up something like that or something? I don't know. But yeah, you can still donate the money. The reason is for why is he hasn't done it. It's weird. That's what I'm saying. It's like, was he trying to get enough money to retire from it? Is that like dark right there? You know what I mean? Like, okay, we made $5 million. Now I'm gonna disappear from the internet. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on?
35,000 instead. That's going to matter more. See, the idea of this money going to a doctor's salary is, again, like, who do you think is going to do the research on this anyways? Of course it's going to go to salary for researchers, doctors.
I literally am about to like donate all this money today and prior to that, earlier this week and the week before, and I've just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated
it's on his end.
The money the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it and he's admitting guilt by doing that. And I never felt that way, but I understand completely that you guys could easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And you know, I just wanted, you know, I want to do right by you guys and what you think. When you guys got the email and I said, please tell us about benefactors, that was genuine, because I haven't found a benefactor that I'm completely happy with, and I want to make sure that this money goes to a good cause in honor of my mom, and I'm upset that the conversations I've had haven't gone the way that I wanted. And I'm willing at this point to just donate the money.
So why won't you just come out with that too then? Make a video. I'll be like, all right guys, so this charity is going for Alzheimer's. As of right now, we haven't felt confident enough to donate the money to the right cause yet, because I feel like they will be using the funds in the wrong way, right? It'll be going to the pockets to the wrong people. Why couldn't you just make a video saying that, right? And then you could also say, since all of this is very public knowledge, right, with the taxes, because it's charity, what do you call it, like a foundation, whatever. It's all public knowledge, like taxes and stuff like that. They could literally put those out to the public. Hey guys, so here it is. The money is still there. All right, the charity money, guys, that we raised throughout the years is still there. Okay, we have not spent a dime on that. We have been doing our thing, and it's still there. We haven't even touched it, guys. All right, so just bear with us. We're trying to find a good, like something like that. That would have given a lot of people like, oh, that's what's going on. But now, like, now that this happened, it's like, all right, guys, so this is why we haven't done it, and now it feels kind of too late already, a little bit, in my opinion. It kind of feels too late, but I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know.
To whoever, I want it to go
not too
in
late,
the right
but
spot. I don't want it to go to some doctor's salary or some expense bill for a massive organization that it's not going to do anything for.
There's probably going to be administrative costs, but it doesn't mean that charities only function when you give them a lot of money. In fact, a lot of charitable donations are just drips and drabs that add up to serious amounts. And based on the filings, with over $600,000 sitting in an account, that's going to do an actual difference in the world. At least more difference than just sitting in a bank account anyways. Now again, Gerard will tell us, how do you make this right? And again, instead of
it sounds like he's more concerned about how it will make him look donating it now more than the donation money. He's overthinking it, way overthinking it. Yeah, you're right.
Worrying about how the internet perceives you after watching this video or this news story, you should just donate the money to the charities that you've said. Going back to their comment, they wanted to address the regulatory frameworks with which 501c3 organizations like ours operates. We are subject to stringent regulations and are required to maintain compliance with federal laws. Our operations are transparent to regulatory bodies, including the IRS, and are subject to review to ensure adherence to these laws. Should there be any irregularities or misuse of funds, agencies such as the DOJ would intervene. Dude, the US government is not God, okay? Just because there's probably a lot of bad things going on transparently to the world. Remember, the IRS and the DOJ are human organizations. This probably isn't even enough money to show up on their radars. It'll show up on their radars now that people are reporting about this, But in general, just because you are a 501c3 organization doesn't mean that you are immediately in the clear. Obviously, the IRS should audit this after we've come to this. Any accountant that I've shown this to has brought up red flags after red flags. Even in the year of 2015, to show you their other expenses schedule, what's insane is when it comes to expenses, they've literally put expenses in just a general bucket called expenses, $27,000 that they spent. Again, not really even breaking this down. You got your business registration fees for $50, your taxes for $425, but any accountant will tell you this is just an audit waiting to happen. If the IRS...
Well, like, where do they... Like, how you're using the expenses, you got to break that down. You can't just put expenses. You have to break it down of, like, what is... So, it's sort of like when I had to do my taxes as a freelancer, I had to have receipts for everything. Luckily, I buy everything now on the internet, like Amazon. So, my receipts are on Amazon. My evidence is on Twitch of all places, like the clips and all that. Believe it or not, I had to do that before. Because they were like, oh, did you actually play this game? Did you actually use the system? Because remember, at the time, I was streaming games and I was streaming art, right? And so, like, if you use that stuff for you to do, like, because I make money off, like, Twitch, right? Maybe not as much, but I still make money off Twitch, right? So I can still use some of those as deductibles. Like, if I buy a game and I play the whole game on stream, I use that as a deductible because I'm streaming it, because I get it, like, because it's proven. Right, the same thing with as an artist, right? Oh, I use this for this, this for this. I bought this supplies to do this, etc. Stuff like that. Same thing when I do an art show. Oh, I bought this. I could use it for this, and that, right? And then vlogging it and taking pictures of it also helps out with evidence and, like, you know, just in case the government needs to see all of that, right? So for their expenses, especially for a charity, you really need to be very transparent of where the expenses are coming from, because if you don't break down your expenses, people are like, what was the majority expensive from then? Like, what did you guys went on vacation with this money? Do you guys not use it for the operation costs for your event? Like, what is going on, right? And that's a problem.
Sits down and audits you, they're going to make you break down exactly what $27,000 in expenses are. Especially when I looked up the expenses year after year after year. 2015, they spent 28 grand. 2016, they spent 11 grand.
Sometimes
with such variations, the IRS should ask you why you spent $125,000 and exactly how. Again, you should just be forthcoming and transparent. And I have no doubt that the federal government will probably want to look into this. And they should. And one of the things is, to compare it to another organization, this is the 990 filings of the Alzheimer's Association, and you can see instead of just writing expenses, they actually detail exactly where and how they're spending the money. This is the kind of account.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Travel, occupancy, royalties, office expenses, lobby, accounting, legal, management fee. Like, that's how you do that. That's exactly how you do that. Yeah, that's exactly how you do that. You break it down like that, pretty much.
Accounting you want to see, not just throwing it into one bucket and calling it a day. So then they ask me and Carl a really wild question, okay? As we actively search for a partnership that meets our high standards, we welcome any recommendations you may have for our potential benefactors. If you are aware of any organizations or research entities that might share our dedication that could benefit from our support, we are more than willing to consider them.
So they don't know where to donate the money.
Why should we, the journalists, do your job for you? You're the charitable organization. You've just been holding on to money when your only job was to find who you should donate to. It is actually wild that people are donating to this foundation and not knowing that their money was just sitting there the entire time. That's the real deceptive part of this. The entire time we were sitting here wondering, yes, our money is going to dementia research, when in reality...
Okay, so we don't know where to donate the money. Can you tell us where we could donate the money? Yeah, donate to my bank account at this point, man. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, what? What do you mean? Like, I had to figure that out for you? This is your organization. You're supposed to do that a long time ago. Like, what was it, 2015? Like 8 years ago?
Nothing was given, it seems, according to these filings. And that money might as well have not existed, and the fight against dementia is not being assisted at all with your money if you were giving it in this fashion. And while, again, we talked with Gerard, he says, how can he make this right? It's donate the money to the charities that you said. That'll make a difference. If the money is there, which you said it is, and according to these filings, there are, just donate the money.
Yeah.
So Carl responded with, "Hi, Jack. Thank you for your detailed response. I would greatly appreciate if you could clarify. Why do you have the UCSF listed as a benefactor on your website if Open Hand does not even contribute to them? Is UCSF the institution you referenced that you made contributions to before the official registration that you believe made insufficient progress? Good point to make. If so, why do you believe they made insufficient progress? Would you also mind clarifying what you mean when you say you donated body parts? Lastly, do you believe that donors have a right to know that their donations have not gone towards dementia research, as they were led to believe? Indieland has been running since 2018. Do you think it's appropriate that it
18, so that means it's been 5 years. Okay, 5 years.
Continues to ask for money when it hasn't contributed any of it or even knows where the money will go? And this is the most baffling response from this organization. Carl, UCSF is acknowledged on our website as part of our historical contributions. As the foundation strategy has evolved, so has our selection of research partners, always with an eye towards more effectively advancing our mission. Now, again, looking into their filings, throughout the years, one thing is apparent. Everyone in this organization, if you look at the breakdown of their employees, it all just appears to be family members listed as presidents, directors, VPs, and secretaries. And they've worked 0 hours, meaning they haven't been compensated, but they also haven't done shit, apparently, according.
What? wait. So he hired his family, which I guess nothing 100% wrong with that. But President 0, Director 0, but then what the fuck? What are they doing? What?
According to the filings. So then they say the specifics of biological donations are secret, obviously. The Open Hand Foundation ensures all donors that funds are conserved with diligence and foresight earmarked for research endeavors that align with our stringent criteria for impactful use. The Indieland event embodies our mission to raise both awareness and funds diligently and responsibly. Nowhere on their own website or Indieland's website have they written somewhere where they said, hey, listen, you can contribute to this incredible cause. Your proceeds go to charity. If you told me instead of going directly to the charity that it was going to your own bank account, sitting there collecting dust.
Not a personal account, but a foundation's holding account.
For years, then people probably wouldn't donate, okay? This is absolutely deceptive. Like, the Open Hand Foundation apparently says that it ensures the donors that it's going to be earmarked when they just say your gift will contribute to vital research for a cure for this devastating disease. If I gave you money, according to your filings, it doesn't actually go to the research. It's just sitting in your own accounts. That's what's fucked up. So while we understand the necessity of due diligence and charitable engagements, yes,
I get
that is the whole point of a public charity. The insinuation of wrongdoing on the part of Open Hand Foundation is both unwarranted and.
I ain't gonna lie, this sounds like the most word salad I ever heard. Most word salad. Oh my god. It's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to. It's kind of like when we wrote those essays back in the day, you know how we try to do a lot of word salad where we try to add some extra words just to be longer, and they don't really add anything to the essay, but we just added it because because they'll fill up more like it'll fill up more of the words requirement. Working, which is I guess looks like it's Jackie. Was she one of the names of the list of the operators working? Like one of the sound members? Yeah, Jackie, the vice president. That was literally the vice president of that. Jackie right there saying a whole lot of nothing that she wrote. A whole lot of nothing. Bruh, I'm just saying, bruh. Well, at least this year's tax, she can at least put that she worked at least an hour or less for this solid essay, and you can put that on taxes now because she actually did work. Technically, she worked. She wrote this response, so like she actually worked them hours.
Yes, that is the whole point of a public charity. The insinuation of wrongdoing on the part of Open Hand Foundation is both unwarranted and unfounded. Again, I wouldn't say that it's unwarranted and unfounded. Nearly every accountant that I've shown this to has seen the red flags. We conduct our operation within a bound of legal and ethical standards. Again, according to your filings, the money is there. All you gotta do is donate it to the people that you claim to be donating to. Now, here's another glaring problem. If you go back to any of their filings,
like
for instance, this is from
2016,
you can see that when they check their organizations, they call themselves a Section 501c3 exempt private foundation.
Yeah.
The problem with this is, according to the IRS, they actually have two designations, private foundations and public charities.
What?
Generally, organizations that are classified as public charities have an active program of fundraising and receive contributions from many sources, including the general public. Again, that would be getting donations through IndieLand with like publicly viewed live streams from the general public. Again, that is one issue right there. I'm a computer scientist, so I really, really urge anybody that has background in tax accounting for charitable organizations, or hell, if the IRS is watching this, one of the things that Carl brought up to me very recently was the 5% rule, which again, this is a very complicated rule, but the idea is the U.S. government expects foundations to use their assets to benefit society, and they enforce it through Section 4942 of the Internal Revenue Code, which requires private foundations to distribute 5% of the market value, the fair market value of their endowment each year for charitable purposes. So again, I want to see how this rule is done, because according to the filings we've seen, they haven't actually given any money. They've spent money in operating expenses. But again, we need to actually see if they're giving their money to a charitable organization.
Oh, you have to do at least 5% every year.
I want everyone professional in the industry to look into this, because this is very, again, when I said that this raises red flags to any CPA or accountant that I've shown, there's a reason for that. And again, before the organization tells us that they're doing the absolute best in responsible stewardship, I want them to explain all of this, because these are just a few discrepancies we found. I could only imagine what a professional auditor will find with this situation. Now, one of the red flags in this was Gerard even told us that he kind of knew about this, a couple months before. Before a while, he used to think that what was going on was money was being donated, until very recently he found out that no, the money was still sitting in the account, and it actually started somewhat of a civil war within this organization as to let's donate this money now, because he's the public-facing figure of this organization. He's going to face a lot of the backlash.
Right. I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like,
do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 where the money hadn't moved yet. Okay. And that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's when I got personally involved to move it.
2021, so it's been 2 years.
And
did anyone...
2021, last year, 2022.
Yeah, did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere before then? Were you being misled?
No. No one told me anything. I assumed that it was all going to a charity, and I assumed it correctly.
But the reality is, if you even knew that, how could you prepare for IndieLand 2023 or anything? This is a glaring issue that you needed to fix a long time ago. Now, from the statements that Gerard made on his streams for IndieLand 2020 and various other IndieLands, it leads everyone to believe, realistically, that the money is going to some charities. Listen to this really closely.
Brother and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world. We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association, currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all.
That doesn't make sense. That was 2 years ago. And when he said he found out 2 years, okay, I'm kind of confused. So he found out about it around just soon after that? Yeah, I'm so confused. That sounds negligence. Yeah, that I'm so confused about that because he said it from himself that he found out about it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is 2 years ago, but okay, hold up.
All of this.
So, working with the University of San Francisco, I thought they were listed in your definition as a historical organization, and you were looking for other people. Again, the claims that are being made are definitely subject to review here. But the most important thing about it is going to be working with the Alzheimer's Association, which is super odd to me because why do you have to run these long-term partnerships? If you're going to donate to the Alzheimer's Association, you should just be writing a check to them. If you're watching this stream and you hear that, in your head you're thinking, yes, the money that I'm going to be donating is probably going to go to these established charities anyways. Normally when YouTubers run charities, they probably just link directly to that charity via a payment processor. But in the
this is like what I said earlier. To avoid all of this, right? To avoid all of it, just put a link straight to the charity. That would avoid everything. You know what I mean? That's literally what almost everybody, every content creator does at this point. Right? It's called a website called Tifili, right? Or something like that. Where you could choose, where you put it could attach straight to the charity, and then all the money that people donate goes straight to the charity. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about any so hey guys, here's my proof of me donating the money, right? Before you had to do that, but now you don't have to do that. Right? So it's like, I'm so confused about that.
In the case of this, it actually went to that Open Hand Foundation. And the money was just stuck in that account, not being given to some of these organizations.
All bits, all donations, all super chats, all YouTube memberships, basically anything that's tied to donating or subscribing in a financial way to us is going to charity. We're not touching any of it. It's all going for a good cause. We're going to have a great weekend. We have a lot of games.
So when he says he's not touching any of it, when we talked to Gerard, he said that there was a couple of years that Indieland actually dipped into the Open Hand Foundation to cover some expenses. So this is a false statement that's being made.
There it is.
So Indieland is a separate thing from Open Hand.
Correct.
But
yes.
we say
there it is. Okay, all right. So this is what I said earlier too. It's like, if they said, some of the operation costs, some of the money you guys donate, it will go towards some of the operation costs, I'll just be honest about that, and that would have been fine. But because he said what he said, like I said earlier, he said that they're not touching none of it. Bro, he shot himself in the foot with that.
Open Hand was paying expenses for Indieland, though?
Only some years and no more than a couple $1,000 depending on the year. If it was too much money just to make it right, because you're not supposed to really do that especially when you have no operating expenses. I'd only reimburse myself and I did it appropriately through the Open Hand when applicable, but not every year and no more than a couple $1,000 maximum.
If you touch any money from charity, even if it's for operating expenses, that's not money that's all going to charity. Not all of it at all. And of course, even when you look at the filings, $0 has been contributed or granted to some of these organizations that they claim to help.
All the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing. That's where he messed up.
So here he claims that he works with the people to help them do their thing. They don't touch any of the money, even though, as far as expenses have gone for operating their organization, it's been up to $125,000, rivaling a net contribution of $0 throughout their existence to these actual people that they claim to be helping, which again is just fucked up.
We are raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
And there he lists who he's working with, which again contrasts with their actual statement they gave to me and Carl,
where they
were just evaluating potential beneficiaries. Again, if you could name these people, why couldn't you write a check to them? $600,000 $50,000 is a very, very, very good amount to start actually making a difference in the fight against Alzheimer's. And even if you didn't have that amount, even if it was like $60 that you raised, because you raised it in charitable funds, you told the audience who you were raising it for, who you were working with, you have an obligation, a legal obligation to donate to those exact organizations.
Yeah,
and again,
so
to also respond to Gerard when we were talking,
because they have the name, they have the charity. Like in the email it says they don't know the charity who they're going to donate to. We want to do our research before we donate to. Throughout all the years, you couldn't be like, especially like the recent year, you couldn't be like, hey guys, so we were gonna donate to this charity, but we find out some things that I feel they're not good for. It won't be for the good for the cause, stuff like that. Like, be transparent about that, and be like, but we still have all the money. It's still in the account. It is public knowledge since we are a foundation, whatever, charity, whatever. And the money is still in the account. Like some easy explanations like that, because they're easy to approve. He could have avoided all of this so easily, dude. He could have avoided all of this very, very easy, man. It's so bad how he oh my god, dude.
It's not about writing a check to any organization. It's about writing the amounts for those exact organizations that you've been listing throughout the years. Because for anybody watching, for anybody looking at this who's ever donated to Indieland, you want your money to go to the places that you were told.
For me personally, this was a really important project for FlyQuest to sponsor. I've had people in my immediate family that have suffered from dementia, people really close to me, so I've personally experienced it. And so when this initiative kind of came across my desk, it was easy to approve. Also, just for context, I'm Brian Anderson. I'm the CEO of FlyQuest. I'm not sure I actually introduced myself here at the beginning. And yeah, great to meet everyone on the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Just really, really excited to help you guys out, participate. Thank you so much for using the space. And also wanted to do a quick announcement as well.
Sure.
FlyQuest is going to be supporting this initiative, not just for the space, but we're also going to be contributing $15,000
Holy
to
shit.
the donations.
Wow.
Let's fire it off.
Wow.
Oh, so that one?
Do you think he knew that the
So there you go right there. Oh my god, let me pause it on that. So you see that right there? Don't donate to that right now because I believe it's not a new link. But that's why they use this. Tiltify. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. And I believe I have one that says Able Gamers one. I think that one's still going on. Yeah. It's still going on, right? Yeah, it's still there. Yeah, if you guys want to buy this right here, right? If you guys want to buy this right here, guys, it goes straight to the charity to Able Gamers. Able Gamers, they raise up money for disabled gamers. Pretty much like, say you got one arm, like myself right now, they'll make a controller so you can play it with one arm. Or you can't use your body. They use that kind of like a mouse kind of thing. I don't know exactly how that works, but they do something like that too as well. So it says, made by an artist who makes characters and think up, which are inspired by graffiti and also cartoons. The reason this is my the reason I wanted, I don't know why I put to be honest, that was my bad. Wanted to make a t-shirt for able gamers. It was a good cause for disabled gamers who love what they are doing to help gamers out. And then go to the story, which I met the founder a couple times already, right? It creates, and they have like people who they donated like the controllers to help them play. So you see like this one with some mouse and stuff. With like when their hands are like kind of like, and so so it's like they help all of them. Like
when he popped the confetti. That's a question I want to see. What do you think the CEO of FlyQuest is going to think when he sees this whole situation unfold before his eyes? That's the most messed up thing in this entire situation too. But ignore the fact that this is a CEO donating a lot of money to. Even average individuals who are giving money away in the chase of $2,000, right? From one user who said, Gerard, it was a pleasure meeting you in Frasier with my buddy Airdorf a few months back. Big fan. Thanks for supporting game devs like us.
Why does Ido always sound like that every time he's on there?
Dementia runs in my family as well. So Indieland always holds a special place in my heart. Distribute all the hot sauce y'all can handle. Protect Watts. Again, Do you think this guy knew that his $2,000 was just sitting in an account instead of going to these charitable organizations? That's the real, again, I can't stress it enough. That's the part that hurts to see the most. But again, like I said at the beginning, it really feels like this is negligence at best. But again, it really takes the IRS to investigate this and see what these expenses and what this organization was doing. Because from the outside looking in, it's incredibly weird to see money being raised, but not distributed as it should be. It is a wild situation. But again, the real damning part about this is not the fact that this is the completionist. This is somebody that, you know, I do respect. I had respect for. This is a situation where it makes me question every charity, right? Because again, I would never look into this because it's run on the foundation of his late mother, and especially covering an illness that I think a lot of people, especially people watching this video, know all too well. If you got elderly family.
Yeah, I mean, when I do charities, I want to know what the money's going, right? You want to do some research on it. Now, to some jump through the cracks, you know, like you donate to a place, you're like, oh damn, they really don't use it for that. You know what I mean? Like the majority of money goes for CLs, whatever you want to call it, right? Like the bosses, whatever. Yeah, there's sometimes it does happen, like where you're like, damn it, I got played. But like for the most part, every time you want to donate to a charity, you always want to do a research. Always want to do your research, or wait, or something, or whatever. Like you just don't donate to whatever, because it doesn't work like that no more, man. Because there's scumbags out there who just use charity donations for something else.
Family in your life. I pray every day that I never have to see my mom and dad or uncles and aunts go through dementia. I pray every day because it's a really scary situation to be in. And that's why, like, when I hear charity money hasn't been appropriated when it should be for stuff like this, it burns me on the inside. This isn't like childhood tabloid gossip stuff. This is serious situations that need to have federal agencies looking into. That's all I'm going to put into it. And again, Gerard, instead of thinking about the perception the public will have over this video or this news story that me and Carl are covering, you need to think about the fact that the money is there. It shouldn't have mattered if me and Carl sent a message to your organization and you were thinking, should I donate the money now? Is it going to make me look guilty or not? Look, at the end of the day, you messed up. But if the money is there, it's still not too late. It's never too late to donate to the charities you've listed, because that's the whole point of this. The whole point is, like the foundation says, to make a fucking difference. And making a difference starts with appropriating this money to the right people to make sure the fight against dementia is alive and well. Money doesn't do anything if it's sitting in an account just operating payroll expenses or operating expenses for a charity that should be a foundation that should be donating. You know, if we hadn't covered this, would the Open Hand Foundation have donated in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? It's a question I'll ask forever till the end of time. Now, I don't want anybody to walk into this and think charities are automatically bad. Not all charities are bad. This is an incredibly wild case of severe mismanagement of money that should never have happened. You know, when you see this situation, it makes you question every charity. I'm questioning every charity, especially YouTuber-run things nowadays. And what hurts the most about this story is the fact that the actual subject matter, the charity, the topic of it is so sensitive. I respected this YouTuber immensely who I covered. This wasn't a situation of me covering, you know, somebody that was automatically on my shit list anyway, somebody that I didn't like to begin with, somebody that automatically gave me bad vibes. This is a YouTuber I respected. And I will tell you right now, before I looked into the story with Carl, I wanted to believe this was some bad dream and we came across some wild discrepancy. But everyone that I've talked to, Gerard included, knows that this is a bad thing, knows that this shouldn't have happened. And the only way to make it right is to fucking donate this money. That said, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.
God damn it, dude.
It's the Crippin' Mac. I'm home. I'm free.
All right, Crip Mac. But yeah, man. Dude, I wonder if he wrote anything on his YouTube or he made a video recently. But damn, man, like I saw it and I was like, "Are you serious?" Everyone's talking about every YouTuber's talking about like everyone's forgot about Boogie at this point, right? Now it's about this. It sucks and it's weird, but at least in his case, I will say this: the good thing is the majority of the money is still there. You know what I mean? It's still there. That is the good news. It would have meant like his career is gonna take a hit, right? It's gonna take a hit, obviously. But it's still savable. Why? Because the money is still there. If it wasn't there, it's over. He would have been done for like a lot of years. But it's still there. He could still save it. Would his indie lane get affected? Obviously, people are probably not going to donate as much money no more or at all at this point. Because like if he does the indie land stuff again, people are just gonna watch over the drama and try to troll with donations or something, or they'll try to like see what the hell's going on and ask them like some burning questions. Why do you have the money in there? Where's the money going? Do you guys really did donate it, etc., etc., etc.? It would just be a whole what do you call it, a drama fest event at that point. So my personal opinion, they should not do the event for at least the next year or two. Sorry, for the next year or two, and just trying to like just showcase that. Hey, and in this case too as well, they have to really show. Hey guys, we really did donate the money. Here is proof of it. At this point, it's like, he's getting bombarded right now. I don't really like shut down all of that. Okay, so his recent video did 122K like that was 3 days ago, and I'm pretty sure how people are. They always go to the recent video, end up disliking it. So the 15K dislikes for obvious reasons. Can't fault the guy. He sure did 100% complete his career. That's pretty funny, but no, it's not 100%. I donated a fairly large amount 3 years ago, and now I'm completely heartbroken at what Gerard has done. It hurts. Well, at least your money's not completely gone. So proud that people like you, gamers that could relate to, were the forefront, champion our cause. It's a shame that you find out that you're not like me and someone I can't relate to. See, people think that the money's gone, right? It's a bad thing, but what it's because you know like, once the narrative goes crazy, they're gonna stick with that narrative. You know what I mean? Even though it's not the full complete truth. Yes, the money was weird. That it's still in account, but like what it kind of sounds like, what people are like talking like this on the chat, they sound like the money's gone, you can master everybody, and now you're a piece of shit. Which is the real reality of it. Is like you didn't really scam people. You were very there's a lot of negligence happen when your charity foundation, but at least the money's still there. You're a little bit scummy, but at least the money's still there. So what are you gonna do with it, kind of thing? That's the real narrative, right? But the narrative's kind of going right now. It's like scam, use the money for themselves. There's no money for the charity, and that's how the internet works. They always go with one narrative, and then eventually the real narrative comes out, but it's kind of like too late. It's weird. That's how the internet works. It is, yeah, man. That's what like they're gonna go with the narrative, man. But it is his fault, negligence. It is his fault, but at least the money's still there.